On the news headlines, El-Rufai warns ADC Vanguard against attributing false statement to him. Nigeria deports 51 foreigners convicted of cybercrimes. PDP Southern leaders reject Lagos zoning summit. US says Nigeria's 70,000 naira minimum wage still below poverty line. On entertainment, BB Niger housemate Bright Morgan's manager dead. Good day, you're watching Leadership TV News. I am Cynthia Onwado. Thanks for joining us. The former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has warned ADC Vanguard, a support group linked to the African Democratic Congress, to desist from fabricating and attributing statements to him. In a post on his X page Thursday, El-Rufai dissociated himself from comments credited to him by the group, stressing that he has his own verified platforms for expressing opinions. Dear ADC Vanguard, please stop fabricating statements and attributing them to me. I have my own social media accounts where I can share my views and opinions, he wrote. He further cautioned that he would not hesitate to publicly reject such false attributions, regardless of whether he agrees with the message or not. In his words, I am going to disown the statements you created and attributed, not because I necessarily disagree with the message, but because I never made them. That is not the honest way to represent our party or gain traction. Please stop it forthwith. The warning followed a now-deleted post by ADC Vanguard in which the group quoted El-Rufai as labeling President Bola Tinubu's administration as Nigeria's most corrupt and dishonest government. The post also alleged that every sector, from the economy to security, had been tainted by fraud, kickbacks, and favoritism. In response to El-Rufai's rebuttal, ADC Vanguard issued a public apology, admitting fault and pledging to avoid similar misrepresentation in the future. It added that it would henceforth rely only on verified and authentic sources in its communication, while thanking El-Rufai for addressing the issue with clarity. In more news stories, the Nigerian Immigration Service has deported 51 foreign nationals convicted of cyber-terrorism and internet fraud by the Federal High Court in Lagos. The latest batch, comprising 15 Chinese nationals and 1 Tunisian, were part of 192 Chinese and Philippine suspects arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in December 2024. Thursday's deportation brings the total number of repatriated convicts to 102 since the exercise began on August 15, 2025. According to the EFCC, the syndicate ran large-scale cyber fraud and Ponzi operations. The convicts face charges of using false online identities to defraud victims, training Genting International Co. Limited employees in fraudulent practices, and other offences under Nigeria's Advanced Fee Fraud Act. EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede hailed the convictions and deportations as a milestone in Nigeria's fight against cybercrime, vowing to intensify investigations, recover stolen funds, and uphold national dignity in line with President Bola Tinubu's anti-corruption agenda. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) is facing fresh internal turmoil as a coalition of southern leaders has disowned a zoning consultation meeting held in Lagos on Thursday, describing any decision from it as null and void. The event, tagged the PDP Southern Zoning Consultative Summit and convened at the Legend Hotel in Ikeja, was meant to deliberate on zoning arrangements within the party. But prominent stakeholders, including State Chairmen from Imo, Abia, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and Rivers, as well as National Assembly members and former governors, accused the conveners of secrecy and exclusion. In a strongly worded statement titled Purported Meeting of PDP Southern Zoning Consultative Summit, the leaders condemned the gathering as illegitimate and divisive, alleging it was designed to serve the selfish ambition of a few. They lamented that several state chairmen, the elected national secretary, and other key officers were not invited, calling the omission a brazen disregard for established party structures. The statement further warned that such exclusionary tactics undermine the PDP's founding principles of inclusivity, equity, and collective responsibility. Reaffirming their solidarity, the Southern leaders stressed their commitment to fairness and justice, urging the National Working Committee and the National Executive Committee to disregard any resolutions from the Lagos meeting. They also warned that if the outcome of the summit is considered, they would not hesitate to take appropriate steps in line with the party's constitution to resist same with full force. And now the United States government has declared that Nigeria's new minimum wage of 70,000 naira remains inadequate to lift millions of citizens out of poverty. In its 2024 country report on human rights practices released on August 12, the U.S. Department of State noted that while the National Minimum Wage Act of 2024 doubled the wage, sharp currency devaluation reduced its value to just $47.90 a month, below the global poverty threshold. The report further criticized Nigeria's weak enforcement of wage laws, pointing out that many workers are excluded. It said the law only applies to public and private employers with at least 25 full-time staff, leaving out seasonal agricultural workers, part-time employees, and those in smaller firms. Some states, it added, have also refused to implement the policy, citing financial constraints. On labor rights, the U.S. report observed that while Nigerian law guarantees a 40-hour work week, paid annual leave and overtime, gaps remain in defining premium pay and overtime. It also faulted the federal government's enforcement capacity, stating that penalties for violations are low and rarely applied. The report noted that the Ministry of Labor and Employment lacks sufficient inspectors to monitor compliance, with many workers expected to file complaints before the National Industrial Court before any action can be taken. The situation, according to the U.S., is further complicated by Nigeria's vast informal economy, where between 70 and 80% of workers are found, a sector largely untouched by wage or labor inspections. And now on entertainment news, tragedy has struck the entertainment industry as movie producer and manager of BB Niger Season 10 housemate Bright Morgan, Victor Tobechukwu Okoli, popularly known as Vic Matt, has been confirmed dead. Vic Matt was reportedly abducted last Friday near Ntachiosa, a popular spot in Enugu, and was later found dead with gunshot wounds. The news of his death has shocked Nollywood circles and the Big Brother Niger community. Filmmaker Ben Cassie broke the news on Instagram, describing him as a rare figure of integrity in an industry she said is often plagued by rivalry and betrayal. In her tribute, she wrote, "It is hard for some of us to see those who genuinely wish us well. In an industry of snakes and scorpions, you stood different. All you wanted was to make good films. To be kidnapped and killed is a heart-wrenching way to leave the earth." Fans and colleagues have since poured out tributes, remembering Vic Matt as a calm, supportive personality who dedicated his life to uplifting others in the creative industry. That's all the news we have for you on Leadership TV. For more of our news stories, you can log on to our website, www.leadership.ng. Thanks for watching.
Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country.